Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CryptoTraders Room. And CryptoTraders Room is a place where we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. And if you are a new-time viewer, please click on that subscribe button so that you're notified every time a video is uploaded, as well as the post notification so you don't miss any of these live streams that I do, so that you do get the notification in a timely manner. And just a little friendly reminder, before we kind of get started, and that's just to remind everybody that I am not a licensed financial advisor, and that what I do talk about in these live streams is to only be used as educational purposes and only educational purposes. So please do not place your trades based on what I do talk about. And then also another friendly reminder is that this live stream that I do and the live chat is not to be used as a mean for you to pump and dump a specific coin or to even pump a specific coin. So if that is going on, the moderators will ask you to stop. And if you continue that, then they will put you on timeout, and then eventually they're going to end up banning you. And if you do get banned, I will not unban you. So please do not ask me to unban you. We'll warn you a couple times, and after that, if it still continues, then yes, you will be banned. And I have to stick with my moderators and their ability to moderate this, and I respect what they do. So I kind of have to stick with whoever they ban, and they're going to have reasons for banning somebody. So. With that being said, let's kind of get started. And thank you everybody for joining. I do appreciate it. Who do we have in the room today? I know we got a couple people that are watching this. But yeah, if you're new, don't be shy. Say what's up. Become a regular. So a lot going on today in this crazy cryptocurrency market that we're all involved in. Huge sell-off today. Nice dips that are really happening. So really, we're going to have to monitor these dips and see if they're going to start breaking some psychological support levels, or if they're going to maintain an upward trend from currently where they are. And, they are off, a little higher from their low today that they kind of set. And really on Coinbase or GDAX and on Bitfinex, they're all following the same leads. Once one exchange starts to really dump, it continuously follows. And unfortunately, it affects the other exchanges as well, too. But it's a great opportunity for arbitrage as long as, the price the price difference is somewhat stable from one exchange to the other exchange, depending on where you're trying to arbitrage from. But the transfer time is really what you gotta consider, because within that transfer time, you could have a flip-flop in prices. So arbitrage could be a little bit dangerous, but there is opportunity to make money without really having to sit there and analyze the candlesticks and the trends and whatnot. You just see a price difference of $20, $30 as long as it's sustained. It's easy to move it from one exchange to another exchange and be able to sell right away. So Jizzy Mac, welcome. Enrique, welcome. Stefan, welcome. Kofi, David, welcome, guys. I appreciate you joining the live stream. Yes, you are becoming a regular, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. BTC dived. Yeah, it's just not BTC. They're all diving. ETC, BTC, Ethereum. Let's take a look and see what else is really diving. I think really the only thing that's really holding up well for me is Ripple. And of course, Ethereum is holding up well considering I bought it really cheap. But Litecoin is not, unfortunately, for my 3036 entry. Yes, I should have exited at 35.50, and I should have probably exited at 32. But I'm looking for I have a longer term outlook on Litecoin and the ability of what she can possibly do. So, if she goes up, I might lock in a little bit of profit, but I will not be selling everything. I'm waiting for the bigger push, and I think that bigger push could happen to 40. Myroslav, I hope I pronounced that right. What's up, man? Hope all's well. From Tampa, sweet. Yeah, let me know where you guys are from too. I know I remember some of you, but I tend to forget. But over time, if you continuously tell me where you're from, I'll definitely remember it. So I'll definitely remember that you're from Tampa. Hopefully, it's not too hot and humid there. I was just talking to a buddy of mine who lives in St. Petersburg. And I was like, "How's the weather?" And he's like, "Ah, dude, it's hot. It's humid." But he's like, "I got the beach in my backyard." He's like, "So I'll just go swimming." But yeah, Tampa's awesome. I was in Clearwater Beach, Florida, years ago. It's an awesome place. Everything down but Ripple. Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitfinex as well too, and then we're going to do some analytical work and whatnot. Let's get rid of YouTube there. We'll keep Bitfinex. Gemini, I'm going to talk about. There was a member in our Slack chat that asked me to kind of talk about Gemini a little bit, so I will talk about Gemini. And I do have a Gemini account, but I don't use it. And he kind of wanted to know why I really don't use Gemini, and that I only really talk about GDAX and Bitfinex and Poloniex and Bittrex. But I'll explain that. I'll explain the pros and cons of Gemini. But yeah, Ripple. I mean, Ripple had a nice move up to the 29.5 cents, and the 29.5 cents definitely gave it a little bit of an issue, considering we can kind of see right over here. That's where a lot of the sideways movement happened, and it had a hard time really breaking out to that 30 cents. So 29.5 is really what it got down to before pulling back just a little bit. So we'll see if she actually regains momentum and gets up to the upside and doesn't follow the same lead as Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Ethereum Classic is following. So. I do have a trend line up here, and this is basically my exponential moving average. It's just a 1 exponential moving average. I think I changed it to like 5 days. Let me take a look and see what I had that exponential moving average set to. 10 days. So it's basically 10 days estimated moving or exponential moving average. But as long as the candlesticks stay above that exponential moving average, we're in a clear. If it starts to dip below it, as we can see, when it came right up here to about 28 and dipped down to 22. My entry was 23,711, so I was able to get it somewhere right around here. Wasn't the bare bottom at 23 or 22. It got to actually 22,001. So if you actually had a low ball offer in of 22 cents, it would have never gotten executed because of that one at the end. So anytime you're placing trades on Bitfinex, just always remember, don't put in a rounded whole number. So if you're looking to get in at 23 cents, you might want to put in like 23,001 or 23,002, whatever it might be. Just don't do whole numbers because majority of time that I've seen, they don't hit that exact 22. They'll hit 22,001 or 22,002. But as we can see with our moving average and the candlesticks, once they actually dip below the moving average, we can kind of see that it just gradually fell. So, when you're using some of these moving averages, especially the exponential moving average, you always want the candlesticks to be above that line. So, when it hit that 22, it definitely made it above the line, kind of hugged the line a little bit, but stayed above it. So we'll see exactly what this does, but this has a potential for a nice run as long as she's not going to follow the same suit as some of the other cryptocurrencies. So it's really been impressive as of right now, but she's got a long way to go to get back up to that all-time high that she had set at 42 cents or 43 cents on Poloniex. But on Bittrex, on Bitfinex, she's only going to show that she got up to about 37.5, 37.7, considering it was just listed not long ago. So, we'll be monitoring this and see what she does. I only have a little under 5,000. So, if she gets to like that 33 range, 32 range, I'll be looking to just kind of take the profit and kind of wait, or I just lock in half of the profit. But everything's down today. And of course, IOTA was just listed yesterday. Started out, I think she got pretty pumped from basically 40 cents to $1.30. So hopefully nobody chased it. When it first got listed, it's best to wait for it to settle down. And that's exactly what she did. She got pumped, and if you would have waited for it to settle down, you would have probably got a great entry in the 55-cent range, a 50-cent range. I think she touched 51 cents. We'll take a look at it briefly. And I'll try to get to some of these comments, but it's going to be hard for me to get to some of these comments because I do want to cover, some of these cryptocurrencies. So if there is something that you want me to cover, and I'm not looking at the live chat, you can definitely utilize Super Chat. Super Chat, I'll definitely get to the message. It'll come out in bold. Yes, there is some fee that you have to pay to use Super Chat, and depending on how much you're willing to donate to use Super Chat, will determine how much time I will spend on that specific cryptocurrency that you want me to look at. But today I will be looking at, Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, Ripple, and then that might basically take up the whole day, to be honest with you. Your mining rig is keeping you warm. Nice. Yeah, hopefully you're somewhere where it's cold. Australia, nice. Okay, now I know where you're from. I'll try to keep that in mind. I'll try to remember. Portugal, Switzerland, sweet. Yeah, definitely would love to visit Switzerland one of these days. ZCASH, yeah, impressive. Getting ready to hit $400, I think it is. What does ZCASH get to? I think I saw it like $395 this morning when I woke up. $375. It's really impressive. The only thing I don't like is the volume. I really don't like the volume at all. I mean, 11,828 in volume. Yeah, it's a little scary. I like to see more of the volume. At least to get up above 50,000 in volume. 11,000 is not much at all. But it's getting up there, with low volume. So that just means that people are buying at a higher price. Let's see, $100 difference between Bitfinex and GDAX on which currency? Kofi, probably Bitcoin, I'm assuming. 25.47 on Bitfinex, 26.70. Yeah, $100 difference. A little over $100 difference. 120 just about. Yeah, so I mean, it's a great opportunity for arbitrage. It really is, as long as you can time it perfectly. And if you can't time it perfectly and the price kind of flip-flops, then you might be selling at a loss, or you might just be holding for a little bit. And that's happened to me before, where I've transferred from Bitfinex to GDAX, and the price completely flip-flopped, and I was like, whoa, I should have really left it on Bitfinex and sold it at a higher profit. But I ended up holding on for a little longer and still took profit. But those are kind of the risks that you take with arbitrage, unfortunately. Yeah, I would like to see XRP get up to that 42 cents. Yeah, as long as you're watching the chart, Stefan, and really paying attention to these dips. I mean, these dips are great opportunities to buy in. Now, I don't have any funds available. Actually, I do. I have a little bit of funds available, but we'll see how far they dip. That's not much. I think $1,500 is what I have available if I wanted to trade something, and then I can utilize a little bit of margin. So I do have a little bit, but I'm gonna be safe and wait for a better entry. But we're gonna analyze some of the support, first area support, second area support, and so forth, and try to look at the probability of what area of support is going to be good for possible entry for me. Do I think Ethereum could drop to 200? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. I think before I went to bed, I did have a low ball offer at 200. And then I think I had another low ball offering for Bitcoin at 2,000. Of course, it's not going to reach it, but if it does, I have the possibility of having it executed. Yeah, and it's just not Bitcoin that's crashing. Everything's following suit, and that's usually the trend that we've been seeing, where Bitcoin starts to dip a little bit, and then what do you know? Some of the other popular cryptocurrencies start to follow suit. So money is basically coming out of those and flowing into other altcoins, and I haven't looked at the other altcoins to see what they're doing. Cosmicos, yeah, I completely agree with that, man. Yeah, I think the Ethereum bubble is ready to burst. The chart has been really contradicting what I've said a couple weeks ago. This is the start of a bubble. So they've definitely contradicted, with their up move from what I've stated. But I'm still going to stick to that. And, we're still in a bubble, to be honest with you, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to lock in profit at $400 on Ethereum. I only sold 5. I wish I would have sold a little more, considering it's 334 now. But that's all right. I mean, I bought it at 177, so I'm still in the profit. Let's see, Mad Max. How can the Ethereum bubble burst if it's built on better technology than Bitcoin? Really, it's price action, price movement, buyers and sellers. When people are taking profits, they're going to cause a dip. So it's not really the technology that it's built on. It's really traders that are locking in the profit, big whales that are dumping, locking in a higher profit. So you're going to have up and down swings. You're going to have major corrections, or you're going to have minor corrections. So this could be the start of a possibly major correction. Who knows? I mean, we'll have to see. We only really have, less than a half an hour's worth of a candlestick from this drop. So we'll see what she does, but it's not looking good currently right now. Do I think it'll go up again? What's that, Sydney? On which cryptocurrency? How do I set myself up every day for trading? Well, I mean, I'm kind of set up now, considering, I mean, the title is, basically what my entries are on which cryptocurrency. So I kind of have my entries right now. I'm not sitting on too much USD. If I was sitting on too much USD, I would be basically, let's just say hypothetically, I was interested in Ethereum. I would be looking at my first area of support, second area of support, third area of support, fourth area of support, and then I would be looking at the order book to determine whether, those area supports, the probabilities of them bouncing off of that level are high. And if they are high, that's the entry that I'm going to take. If that probability I don't think is going to work out based on my analysis, I might not take that trade. So. But yeah, that's kind of how I set myself up. I look at the charts, I analyze them, I'll plot out the support and resistance. Support and resistance is already kind of plotted out from a couple of videos ago. But then I'll kind of look at the probabilities of, okay, you know what, it broke my first area, it broke the second area. Let me look at the third and fourth area on the order book and see how many buyers and sellers are stacked up. So hopefully that was kind of helpful. I know it was kind of short. Bitcoin, yes, Sydney, if it drops, it's going to come back up. Bitcoin has proven that to us over and over and over again. It went from 2,700 or 2,800 to 1,900, and look how fast it came back up. So, you know, I'm not really too worried about it, about Bitcoin. It will have that drop. It'll have that rise. Now, I don't have any Bitcoins. Just to let you guys know, there's not one Bitcoin that I currently own. Everything else is basically in Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, and Ripple. But we'll see. I mean, if she gets to that $2,000 level, I would be interested in taking a position. And I think I would probably end up buying, you know, maybe 2.25. I think that's what I have an order for in right now, 2.25 Bitcoins. Yeah, I don't know about any news coming out of China, but if you do know of any, please share it with us. You know, the more information we have, the better. Jizzy Mac, everything's all speculation, but it's just not Ethereum. Everything's speculation, you know, and either your speculation is going to be proven right or it's going to be proven wrong. That's really what it comes down to. I'll try to get to some of these comments, and then, yeah, we're really going to dive in deeper into some of these, and I probably will not be looking at the chat unless you use Super Chat, and it does come up in bold. So the Super Chat definitely sticks out for me to basically get to your question. So if there is a question that you really want me to answer, you really want me to get to, I highly recommend utilizing Super Chat. Litecoin is crawling. Yeah, it's crawling. I'm not too happy with it at the moment. Tracy, welcome. Trading in Texas. Yes. Hey, welcome. And you're saying, I see where you see the volume pump is right on the order book. Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at the volume, and you can see the volume just basically spiking. I mean, actually, I'm looking at a different monitor that I'm not sharing with you guys. But let's just go ahead and take a look at this. But I mean, you know, on the left-hand side, I have, and these are all Coinbase that I'm sharing with you guys, the chart on Coinbase, so BTC, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And you can see the volume spiking on the bottom, you know, right-hand side. You know, when you have a major sell-off, there's just nothing but, you know, selling that's happening, and that basically indicates by these crazy long red candles. So there's a lot more selling going on than buying. And, you know, a lot of people probably, you know, fear of losing their profit or locking in those profits, or, you know, they could have had a higher profit and they did, and they decided, you know what, let me just lock it in here now before it falls further, and then I will buy back in. Who just said don't panic, sell? Let me see. I'm missing these comments. Don't panic, sell. Yeah, Stefan, I completely agree, man. Don't panic, sell. You know, just hold. Especially, you know, if you're holding some of the popular cryptocurrencies. You know, if you're holding Bitcoin, don't panic and sell. That's my honest opinion. You know, it'll make it back up. You know, you might want to add a little bit to the position to lower your cost average if you have funds available. But yeah, if I was holding Bitcoin, let's just say I bought Bitcoin at, you know, $2,999, I would not panic and sell here at all. It'll make it back up. Yeah, you got to be able to live with the swings. Yeah, your stomach has to be able to handle it. Yes, it's better than fiat. Fiat's not going to do anything for you. Let's see, Stefan, you disagree. You disagree on which comment? And there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with me. You know, if you guys disagree, I mean, please let me know. Dylan, good morning. Welcome, sir. Speculation is better. Yeah, I mean, as long as your theory is proven right, and you got to look at other probabilities of why that speculation might be correct. I mean, but yeah, I mean, every trader will speculate. Every trader is going to have their own strategy. They're all going to come up with different analysis. Some analysis might be the same as other traders, but majority of the analysis are going to be completely different. And one of them is going to be proven right, and the other one's going to be proven wrong. So one will make money, and the other one will lose money. Not next. I have no clue about Coinbase. I mean, they could be having issues. I haven't really logged on to GDAX. Let's see who took a big hit today. Elliott Wave. You know, I've looked at Elliott Wave. I don't use Elliott Wave. I mean, there's so many different indicators that you guys can use. I don't use Elliott Wave at all. I basically form my own trend lines, and I do use some of the moving averages, exponential moving averages, and things like that. But yeah, there's a couple of little indicators that I'll pop up occasionally here and there. But a lot of those indicators, I mean, you know, if you're using too many of them, they will cloud your judgment. Yeah, ECS, I agree. Welcome, by the way, ECS. Yeah, if you're long, don't torture yourself in watching this minute by minute. It'll kill you. Honestly, it will. Account issues at Coinbase. Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. I don't really use Coinbase, to be honest with you. I mean, I use GDAX, and GDAX is owned by Coinbase. I don't recommend anybody to use Coinbase whatsoever, to be honest with you. You're going to pay a high premium fee. All right, so I'm gonna not look at these chat unless you guys are actually utilizing the super chat. And if you are, I'll definitely get to your message. But let's go ahead and get a little bit of work done here. We'll take a look at BTC, even though BTC is not really a holding of mine currently right now. But I know a lot of people are holding BTC. But let's just take a look at the overall and see what it's looking like. It's definitely not green, like it just showed me. So yeah, everything is dipping into the red currently right now. Everything is dipping into the red. So Bitcoin down 7%, Litecoin 2.2%, Ethereum 7% almost, Monero 8%, Lisk almost 5%. ZCASH is up. The ZCASH has definitely been impressive. It's down from its high, but it's still up. Of course, Ripple's up. Doji, yeah. My son's asking me about Doji every single day. What is it doing? I'm like, well, you're down. I'm like, what do you want to do? Hold it or sell it? He's like, I'm going to hold it. I'm like, all right. But if he tells me to sell it, I'll sell it. If it's at a loss, it's at a loss, and then we'll find a different entry for him. But yeah, majority of the cryptocurrencies are down today, unfortunately. But we'll see if they make a turnaround. I mean, like I said, this is a great buying opportunity for a lot of people. And if they've been sitting on the sideline with fiat, waiting to find an opportunity, you got to, Bitcoin got to 2420 on Bitfinex. What did it get down to? Let's go ahead and enlarge this so you guys can see this a little better. Low of 25.55. All right, so let's take a look at some key areas of resistance. Key areas of support, considering she is downtrending currently right now, and take a look and see what is she going to try to maintain. So we're going to look at the 30-minute chart just to kind of have an overall, maybe an hour actually. So as we can see, yeah, the first area basically, that it kind of cracked through before really, making its way back up was this 24.95. Let's just say 25. 2,500 bucks just to make the math easy. But yeah, it went from 2,500 to 2,800. But yeah, look at all the selling. These drops, and when you see these drops that are happening, these are panic sellers that are just panicking and selling, and these are the opportunities that you want to look for. Especially if you're just sitting on the sideline waiting for a great opportunity. When you see these panic sells, these crazy long candlesticks that are just continuously causing it to dip. We're looking at a 1-hour candlestick now. So, we really haven't even gotten very granular to this. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to try to find an entry. So it did basically break through the first area of resistance. First area of support, which would have been the 2710. So it broke through that, broke through it with a vengeance. It broke through the 2625 with a vengeance, and it got to 2555. So let's see why that 2555, it bounced off of it. If there was anything that happened in the past that would cause that to bounce off. And people are probably looking at, let me see if I can put a circle here. And people were probably playing this high here and saying, what if she does come down? There's a possibility she could come to this high here before she actually started making its little dip here and then making its way back up. So really, people might have been playing, traders might have been playing this high here, but it did dip a little below that, but not by much though. So we'll have to see if this thing really cracks at 2550, considering she has shown us, she can bounce off of that 2550, or actually 2,500 bucks, and get back up to 2,800. She has proven that to us, and she's proven that many times before. But if she does crack that area of support of 2,500. Then yeah, the next area is going to be really the 2660, 2550-ish. And that might be really the area that I would be possibly looking at. That would be the first area to see if, what is the order book looking like? Are buyers and sellers stacked up at that specific price point? And she has proven to us in the past that, she can hit that level. And that was basically a crazy, resistance for it, where she tried to break out twice. And I had these circles from probably a couple of videos ago, where she can break out above that. Oh, I'm sorry, not break out, but she can get close to that and bounce right back down. And a lot of times what they like to do is they like to make the prior good support or resistance a new support. So this was a a very good resistance here, eventually, before she really broke out. But if she does come down, she could form that support to be or that resistance prior to be the new support line. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that 2360, 2350-ish. So let's take a look at the order book and see exactly, what is going on that 2350-ish. And that's if GDAX allows me to go back that far. 2610 is as far down as I can go, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not like Bitfinex. Bitfinex, I mean, I can look at the whole book, and not only look at the top 50 book. But 2604, there's 22. That's waiting to be bought. At 2598, we'll just say 26. There's 15 that somebody wants to buy, or a group wants to buy. But then, we got some sellers. We got some sellers that are going to keep us down. Especially, I mean, the 2614 isn't too bad. I mean, 65 is a good amount, but this 128 at 2640 is going to give it a little bit of an issue. And that's only, 40 bucks or 30 bucks away from its current price right now. Let's go ahead and get a little granular and just to see. So basically flatlined right at the 2786, 2785. So 2785. So we have a bunch of sellers. Can't really tell yet because we're at 20. The highest that I can see is 2655-ish. So that 128 though is going to give it an issue. So later on, if she gets to 26, close to 2640, we'll have to see exactly how she reacts to this 126. That's that somebody's looking to unload. All right, next one, Ethereum. Let's see what Ethereum is doing. Currently touched a low of 317.91 on Bitfinex. 341 was a low on GDAX. But yeah, a lot of panic selling, and these are 15-minute candlesticks. So let's even, let's look at this on a 3-minute level. But yeah, that's definitely panic selling right there. Really bringing it down from, let's just say 390 to 374. Within a matter of 15 minutes, 18 minutes, something to that extent. Let's take a look and see exactly how she reacted to that. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So 341. So this 306 was from a while ago. Hit that 306, and what do you know? Bounced right back. So if anybody panicked sold, when this happened here, this dipped to 306, thinking, hey, you know what, this thing could get to possibly 250. Then it came right back on them. That was money that they kind of lost out. Maybe they sold a little bit just to kind of minimize the bigger loss that they could possibly be taking. And if they would have left some on the table, then yeah, they would have come right back up close to their possible entry if they got in the $400 range. But yeah, today, so let's see, it's touching this level right here, and it bounced right off this level, and that level was at 340. And this is a prior support that I plotted out a couple days ago. So we'll see if she's going to break that, and if she breaks that, then, she's got a couple other levels to test out. But more than likely, if she does bottom out, she might bottom out at that 320. I doubt she'll get to this 280, 290. I doubt she will, unless there is, heavy selling that's going on. Somebody sitting on the sideline just decides, what, let me just get out. Let me dump this because I bought this at whatever, 200 bucks. They might be dumping at this level here. So we'll have to really pay attention to this as it gets close, because then we're able to take a look at the order book a little better, considering the order book will catch up to that price point, to that range. But unfortunately, we have no way of finding out currently right now until it gets close to that level. So right now, the only thing we can do is take a look at this 340 level and see if there are anybody that's stacked up at that level. So where are the buyers stacked up? 100 at 360 actually just fell right off. So they moved it up. That's a good thing. So we got almost 200 No, they see they keep taking it off and adding it on. So these are more than likely, I mean, if we really keep an eye on them and depending on how rapid they're moving within the order book, because you will see that, 100 kind of start dropping down and then it'll kind of go up. And these are just bots trying to manipulate people into buying or into selling possibly. But nothing crazy that stands out. I mean, we got a couple that are, 100 in the book at 367, another 100 at 366.98. It's not a lot of them that are stacked up trying to basically unload, unless they're on the sideline waiting, or unless, they paid the extra to hide their order. But the way I look at it is, if you're currently in, Ethereum, Litecoin, or, Ethereum Classic, or even Bitcoin, and you haven't sold yet, this is not the time to sell, honestly. The goal is not to buy high and sell low. The goal is to buy low and sell high. And if you're possibly selling at these levels, you're taking a bigger loss. You don't want to sell at the bottom. If you wanted to minimize your loss, wait for a correction, wait for it to get back up, then you can minimize your loss instead of taking a bigger hit. So I mean, there were people that bought Bitcoin, under that 3,000, and hopefully they didn't sell it at 2,420, unless they were shorting. If they were shorting, yes, that's a perfect opportunity. But I do have a couple things in the order book. Sell 5 at 450, sell 5 at 550, sell 5 at 600. It's probably not going to get to the $550, $600 level anytime soon. But since I'm not at my computer 24/7 watching this thing, I figured I would just put those orders in there. And same thing with Bitcoin. I think there's been an order sitting there for a couple days, 2 days now. 2,000, which I doubt it'll get there unless we have a crazy major sell-off. But that's just a purchase 2.25. Next one is going to be Ethereum. Next one's going to be Litecoin. But they don't seem to be crashing, which is good. Yes, they had their dip, but they don't seem to continuously keep dipping. All right, Litecoin. Yep, exactly. So here's a level that I plotted out. I don't know when. I have to probably go back and watch the videos. And that was the $28.58, $28 and let's just say $28.50. So it bounced off that level so far as of right now. I mean, we don't have much data to kind of go off, considering these are only 15-minute candlesticks. As the time goes on and it maintains that price above the 26.60, we know that's a good support. And the reason why I plotted out that support from a while ago, let's take a look and see exactly what happened on maybe the 1 hour chart. Basically, I was looking at different areas where it bounced off that 28.50. Got an area here. Oops, that's too big of a circle. An area there that it bounced off that 28.50-ish, an area there, an area there. So that's why I picked that 28.50 as a support line a while back. And then there's, of course, other support lines, but we'll see if she actually breaks and cracks through it. As she can prove it here, she has cracked through it. So if there's going to be a major sell-off, yes, she could crack and really get down to the support line here, 26.51. But we don't know until we actually look at the order book and see exactly how many people are stacked up at that 26.53, and then the probability of that being a good support, it's going to be a lot higher. And then to find an entry at that support is actually going to be more profitable than to kind of get in here, because at this price point, let's take a look and see how many people are stacked up. So 29.20, a little under 1,000 on the sell side. 29.48, about 867. 29.19, it's about 437. But we got a nice buyer that's really keeping this afloat right now. 403 at 29.13, and it doesn't seem like anybody really wants to sell to that 29.13 at this current time. So that's a good sign. It's a good sign that sellers are not dumping on that 403 Litecoin buyer. 28.89, 2,846. As long as that's a real wall, That's going to be very good to keep the price close to that $29 price range. And they keep moving that order up. So let's see how high they're going to move it up. 28.93 currently. 28.83. So they're moving it down. And they're moving it down rapidly. So more than likely it's a bot. 28.88. Yeah, this is definitely one person or it's one bot. Now it just completely fell off, and another one got added on at 28.83. So basically, I mean, this is just a pure manipulation. So here we go again. So there are two basically bots, I'm assuming, that are putting in large orders of 2,700, 2,500, and they keep putting it on and taking it off, putting it on and taking it off. And for an inexperienced trader seeing that, they'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to take an entry here because there's a big support line there. More than likely, it's not a big support. It's just a fake wall to kind of get people to buy in. $28.90. If it's a real wall, it's going to be support. So 28.90, 28.92. I mean, 2,643 Litecoins, 2,662 Litecoins. I mean, those are pretty huge right at that price point. But it's not a real wall, so it's not a place I would say, you know what, let me get in at 28.93 and get in above that buyer, because more than likely it's not a real buyer. They're going to just take it right off. More than likely, they have a bigger agenda. They're looking to basically sell, and they probably have a big order here. So who knows? We know what that order might be. It could be 383, it could be 867. And then basically what they're trying to do is just get the price to get up, because there's a big wall support in that price point. And as the price goes up, their buy-in is never going to be executed, but their exit will be executed because they got the price to go up. But yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, it rapidly is in the book, and then it either falls off and gets added on at a different price point. And for it to be, to get added on that fast, that quick, it's one buyer or one bot, basically. It's not multiple people. It's, they can't put their order in simultaneously within a fraction of a second. It's just not logical. Yeah, and I'm not looking at the comments. So if you guys are really leaving me a comment that you really want me to get to, I highly recommend utilizing Super Chat, because I'll definitely it'll be highlighted, it'll come through, and I'll be able to see that. But yeah, good amount of manipulation is currently going on in the sense of Litecoin, especially with these 2,700 Litecoins that are just constantly moving through the order book. They really don't have any plans of having those executed whatsoever, and anybody can do that. As long as you have a large capital reserve in your trading account and you're utilizing margin, anybody can go in and put in a very big wall. I mean, I can go in and put in a very, very big wall right now if I wanted to. What good is that going to do for me, though? I'm not here to manipulate anything or anyone. So, but yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what she does when she actually gets close to a new support line. But she seems to be holding that 28.50 very well. But yeah, if anybody's looking to be aggressive right now, I mean, really, it all depends on your aggressive trading, how aggressive you want to be, or do you want to be patient and wait for it to come back? So if I wanted to take an entry into Litecoin and I wanted to be aggressive, I would be looking at that 28.61. Of course, if I wanted an entry right now, I would buy in at the current price. But, the entry, if I wanted to be aggressive, I would kind of wait for it to pull back to 28.55. And if it doesn't, I have an entry. If I wanted to be a little bit patient, then, I might wait for that 27.75-ish. And if she does crack that 27.75, it would really be 27, considering, she's proven to us that, she can bounce off of that level. But, to get in at 27 and sell, close to 30, 31, what it gets to today, especially if anybody bought the dip yesterday. Was that yesterday? The 12th. So if anybody bought the dip on the 12th at 27 cents, or even if you got in at 28 cents, I mean, it made it up to 32 bucks. Those aren't bad gains at all if you were just looking to kind of get in and get out and not looking to hold this long term. But yeah, they had a nice little correction, and this is just a healthy correction. It can't keep going up and up and up and up. That's just when the bubble is going to get. It's when the bubble's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the bigger the bubble gets, the bigger the pop. And it's nice to have these drops. It's nice to have these corrections. It allows people to take profit. It allows people to find a better entry. It's got to do these things. So, I would not be alarmed. I would not panic. It's got to do these. And you just got to keep telling yourself, you know what, this is healthy. It's a healthy retracement. It's not a major correction. And currently right now, I don't think it's a major correction until she just continuously starts to snowball. If she's breaking all types of resistance and not really maintaining any of those resistance, then I would say, yeah, you know what, this is the major crash. So, be ready. Be ready to either lock in some of the profit that you have or, be ready to get a good entry in. All right, we're going to take a look at Litecoin, and then I will try to get to some of these comments. And then just a little reminder for the live stream on Friday. Friday, I got some pre-planned event that's been scheduled a couple days ago, or actually a couple weeks ago. So Friday's live stream is not going to be at 9:30. If I do a live stream on Friday, it's probably going to be later in the day. So I'm not going to schedule anything for Friday, just in case I don't get to my computer to be able to do this live stream. But I highly recommend clicking on that bell notification so that you're notified if I do schedule a live stream. And if I do schedule it, I'll schedule it a half an hour before the live stream goes on. So it gives you enough time to kind of get that notification. But if you don't have that on there and I don't really, schedule a live stream in advance, then you will not get that notification. But there is a possibility that I will not be doing a live stream. And if I do, it's going to be kind of spur of the moment when I get back home from my pre-planned schedule that I have planned. All right, let's take a look at Bitfinex and see what's going on with Bitfinex and the price difference, of course. So 27.79 on Litecoin versus 29.26. A little bit of arbitrage, but not worth it for me, to be honest with you. I want to see a bigger difference in price than that current price. $3 to $4, that would kind of pique my interest for arbitrage. BTC 2495 versus 2624. That's a huge difference. Yeah, 127 bucks. To make within a matter of hopefully minutes, as long as the transfer goes through in a timely manner. But let's see what this dip to today. 2,420. Yeah, I think if this thing keeps dipping more, she could touch the low here. And I never saw this low. I must not have been on my computer, but she did touch $2,284. So we'll see if she kind of gets close to that range. And if she breaks that 2,200 and what did I say? 2,284 or $2,285. Yeah, there's a possibility she can crack further. And I mean, she can easily fall another 200 bucks from there if the selling intensifies. So let's take a look at the full order book. And this is why I like Bitfinex. I'm not limited to only looking at the 50. All right. Who is trying to unload? Ooh, there we go. 330, and this one seller at 2,500. So he is looking, or she is looking to unload. Let me look at my other monitor for the chart on BTC. So that's very close to the execution price. I mean, we're currently at $2,499.90. So this is very close to being executed, and I'm going to follow it and see exactly how she reacts to the price. But let's just scroll down real quick and see if there's any other big sellers. 64 at 2553. Here we go. Is the big one right here. 2579, 258. And I mean, those are huge for BTC. Actually, I didn't look to see how many buyers and sellers were at that 258. Two of them want to unload 258. On the buy side, one person wants to buy 15. Henry's online. Let's see, did Henry join the live stream? Henry, if you're on the live stream, let me know, bud. 10 at 2432, 30 at 2425. Let's look at that 2285 and see if that's going to be a very good support, considering that was a low that it touched a couple days ago. So 2280, 31. So that person's playing a little bit, well, 6 people are playing a little bit under that low. Because really that low was 22845. 27. So nothing crazy, except for on the sell side, the 330 and then 258. So those are going to be really key levels to kind of look at. Let me mute this real quick and respond back to this text. I do apologize. All right, I apologize about that. But yeah, let's get back to Bitcoin. Considering there's a big sellers that are stacking up at a very specific price point, and it's only one person. And really, that's just going to cause a lot of people to get out, to be honest with you. I mean, two people are trying to unload 312 at 2,500. I mean, that's huge. And that's very close to this price. So yeah, if nobody's buying up those 312, people are going to start hopping in and just unloading what they have because nobody wants to buy at 2,500. So we'll see how she reacts to it. But of course, she's definitely cracked through our exponential moving average, and she's way below that. And as long as it stays below it, we know that there's more of a downtrend that's going to happen. I mean, if we look at the perfect example here, I mean, she hugged it, but then she basically, the candlesticks got underneath our exponential moving average, our 10-day exponential moving average, and as long as it's below it, it's going to crack, and it's going to keep cracking until she actually shows us some sort of upward momentum and she gets above that moving average. And once she really hugs it or stays above that moving average, we know we can get some sort of a upside. But the bigger the gap between the actual candlesticks and the moving average, we know the further the dip is going to be. So we always want it to stay close and hug it. But if it's pretty far apart, then we know that she's going to have more of a dip. But yeah, I'm curious to see how she's going to react to that 310. And of course, people are looking at that and saying, you know what, I'm going to start selling. I'm going to profit. I'm going to sell before that person gets out because that person is going to cause this thing to crack. I mean, there's not much support for that 310. There aren't a lot of buyers that will support that. So that might sit on the order books for a while. What is Ripple doing today for me? Yeah, Ripple got up to what, 29.5 to 29.6, I think it was. That wasn't a bad little profit if I would have taken it. But she needs to crack 30. And once she cracks 30, I think 33, 35 is in sight. And I think she could have done it if Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin didn't start dipping. She could have easily done it. And of course, I mean, look at our moving average. It stayed above our moving average, and it started to kind of have a nice little gap between the moving average and that 29.7. What was it? 29.554 was the high. So that 30 was really a strong resistance. And of course, when Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin started coming down, it followed suit and came down with it. So I mean, down 3 cents. That kind of sucks. But I'm still in the profit, considering I bought it at 23.711. So this blue line here is kind of my entry. It's not accurate because it's set to 23.673, but it was 23.711. So we'll see. Hopefully she doesn't crack that level. More than likely, what she's going to do, she's going to bounce off of that level. Considering a couple times she hugged it and stayed above that level, so that could be a good support. Unless, like I said, a lot of selling comes in, and then she could really test that low of 22.001. Possibly. But yeah, everything was starting to look good. Everything was starting to make headways this morning until BTC decided to pull everything down, unfortunately. All right, before I get to the comments, I'm going to talk about Gemini because there was somebody in our chat asking me to kind of just talk about Gemini and why I don't really use Gemini too much. Now, it's a great platform. Well, it's a great exchange. I shouldn't say it's a great platform. That's not really a platform for traders, to be honest with you. It's more of a platform for long-term investors, things like that. Let me see if I need my 2FA. It should remember me on this computer. Okay. So they don't really have a charting system, and that's really one of the biggest things that they're lacking is a charting system. I mean, I got a basic chart. This really doesn't help me as a trader. As an investor, yeah, you know what? I can put money in there. I can look at it. Periodically, I can look at the trend, but as a trader, really, it's not helpful at all. But one of the biggest things that I do like is the funds availability. I mean, I can deposit $500, before 5 p.m., and it's available instantly right away from me. And then after 5 p.m. Eastern time zone, I can deposit another 500. It's instantly available for me, so I can have $1,000 deposited within a matter of minutes and be able to use that $1,000 for any trades that I want to make. Now, I can't take the coins that I buy after I do an initial deposit and be able to transfer them. You have to wait until the funds actually clear. So that's one nice thing that they are allowing you, is they are allowing you to use the funds before the funds actually even get to Gemini. Whereas with Coinbase, if you initiate a deposit, it's going to take 4 to 5 days for that money to get there. So that's one nice thing about Gemini, is that they do allow you to use those funds as soon as you do that instant deposit. So $500 you can deposit, it's instantly available. You can use it to trade. You just can't move the funds, but you can trade it back and forth as many times you want. Buy it, sell it, sell it, and be possibly able to turn that $1,000 or $500 to a little bit more, considering they're giving you access to it instantly right away. And the other drawback is, really you can only trade two things. You can only trade Ethereum, and you can only trade Bitcoin. But their charting system is not there, to be honest with you, and that's why I really do not use Gemini. But now, let's just say hypothetically, Bitcoin starts to tank, it's dropping, and I don't have any funds in any of the other exchanges, and I need to get funds to an exchange quick so I can buy it. Gemini is really the best thing. If BTC drops to, let's just say hypothetically $1,500, or let's just say 1,000, it starts dropping to 1,000, I can transfer 1,000, at basically, around 5 p.m. Eastern time zone, and be able to buy one Bitcoin instantly right away, instead of waiting 4 days and then the price kind of recovers from 1,000 back up to 15, 16, $1,700. So that's really the biggest advantage they have, and they could be the leader in the cryptocurrency exchange. They could be the leader if they wanted to. They have the ability. They just need to get a better charting system. Once they get that better charting system, I think I would use them heavily. And then the other thing I don't like is a commission. You do pay commission. You're going to pay commission to buy. You're going to pay commission to sell, and it's basically 0.25% or 0.3% that you're going to pay. Whereas on GDAX, I can set a buy limit and a sell limit and not pay a single dime in commission. So really, those are the two cons. Is not having a trader's charting system, and having to pay commission on just about everything. Where you can kind of avoid that by using Gemini. By using GDAX. But other than that, it's not a bad platform. It's not a bad exchange. But they are lacking a couple of things, and they have the ability to incorporate TradingView into their charting system. They could do that easily. I don't know why they don't, to be honest with you. And if they do, I think that there'll be a lot more volume. There'll be a lot more volatility. Maybe that's what they're trying to avoid. They don't want the volume. They don't want the volatility. So who knows? What their logic behind not having a good charting system is. So hopefully that answers the question for you. I forget who it was that asked me on our Slack chat, but I did tell them that I would be covering that on the live stream. But let's go ahead and close that out. So I do have $500 in there. That's been in there for, I don't even know how long, to be honest with you, a long time. And I should probably utilize it, but we'll see. All right, that big seller is scaring a lot of people off at 2,500. Scaring a lot of people off. It would scare me too. That's just a huge amount sitting in the order book. 2 sellers for 310. I'm surprised a lot of people aren't stacking up above that seller or the sellers. I am surprised, but that could happen at any time. Really, it could happen. Somebody could come in with 150 Ethereums and just say, you know what, I'm going to unload it. Before they do, I'm going to unload it at $299.99, or they might just say, you know what, I'll just get rid of it at $240. $2,488. So who knows who's sitting on the sideline? Who knows what order is kind of hidden from the order book? But yeah, this is not looking good so far at all, considering, unless this person or these people here fall off the book. That's really the only way that we're going to have a little bit of an upside, is if they really come off that order book. But as long as it stays in that order book, I don't think it's going to crack above 25. You know, if it gets to 2,500, it's going to stay at that 2,500 until those 312 Bitcoins get absorbed. And it's going to take a while to absorb them. There aren't enough buyers to back it up at that specific price. So it's going to be a little tough. We'll see. So let's see, my entry on Litecoin is down. Entry on Ripple is up. Entry on Ethereum Classic is up, considering I bought it at 177. But yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. This morning looked great. I mean, at 32 bucks, I saw it and I was like, all right, you know, we might get up to that 35 range. All right, so let me see if I can get to some of these comments. And I do apologize if I missed any good ones. But I highly recommend, if you don't want me to miss a comment or you want me to analyze a specific cryptocurrency, definitely utilize Super Chat. All right, so the question that I'm getting to is, Mad Max, serious question. Should I put my weekly wages into Bitcoin? No, not if you need that money, bud. If you need the money, don't put it into any cryptocurrencies. Doesn't matter what it is. That's one thing I would recommend to anybody. I mean, if you need that money, I mean, you know, you're getting a weekly paycheck to be able to hopefully pay your bills. But, you know, if that's money that you don't really need and you can afford to lose it or you can afford to be down, then, you know, yeah, I mean, it's presenting a great buying opportunity. I don't know if the buying opportunity is great right now, considering we are on a downtrend. But, you know, I would wait to see exactly what this is going to do. There's a possibility it could crack to 23, 22. I mean, anything's possible. But I mean, if anybody's buying it here at 24.60 and let's just say it cracks to 22, don't panic and sell. Do not do that, please. You will end up basically taking a loss. It's going to make it back up. It's just a matter of time. And Bitcoin has proven to us over and over again that she can dip and she can have a nice little, you know, correction, but she can come right back up. This is not one of those crappy altcoins where, you know, you're buying it at the high and it dips and dips and dips and then eventually just flatlines and doesn't really get back up. And it takes, you know, a couple of weeks for it to pump up again. And by then you might end up missing the pump. Don't do it, Max. I agree. Don't do it, dude. I'm glad that you agree with me. Yeah, I don't recommend anybody put any money that they're not willing to lose. Now, you're not going to lose it. You know, you're not going to lose everything. Bitcoin is not going to go to zero. But there's a possibility that Bitcoin could hit 2,300 and just kind of flatline and consolidates before having a major run up. So you have to be able to stomach that. Yes, I bought it at 2,500 and it dipped to 22. You know what? I'm going to hold it. And if I had Bitcoin, I would hold it. I would not sell it, to be honest with you. But if it was a crappy coin, then yes, I would sell it. I mean, if I bought BAT, I would sell it. We'll take a look at BAT. I want to see what BAT's doing. A lot of people lost money on BAT. Ripple's a joke. Yes, Ripple's a joke, and I can care less about Ripple holding long term. I just really wanted to get to that, you know, possibly 33,711, so I can make a 10-cent profit. And that would only really give me 500 bucks. Mad Max, you ran into the buy limit. I don't know what that means. I know I missed a lot of questions. I mean, there was only so far up that I could scroll, to be honest with you. Sydney, you're from Denmark. Awesome, dude. Welcome. Tracy, are you asking me if I'm in the U.S.? I think you know that I'm in the U.S. Now, Sydney, are you trying to buy on Coinbase or are you trying to buy on GDAX? If it's Coinbase, just go to gdax.com, log in with your Coinbase user ID and password, and that's really what I would recommend. No, IOTA is not available on Bittrex. It is only available on Bitfinex. Yeah, it could be too centralized, but you know what? As long as it has volatility, I will trade it. I can care less about, you know, the ins and outs behind that specific cryptocurrency. Now, I do care that the scenes, the technology behind Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin, but a lot of these other crap coins I can care less about. Yeah. Okay. So Max, you are using Coinbase. Don't use Coinbase at all. Stay away from Coinbase. Use GDAX. I mean, you need to set up a Coinbase account in order to have access to GDAX, but you have access to GDAX, dude. You just use GDAX. Yeah, it might just be a little glitch, you know, that your buy limits are going down and then they appear and then disappear. I mean, any of these exchanges are going to have glitches, and that's why it's good to have different exchanges and your money kind of spread out in those different exchanges. So if Coinbase does go down, you have access to another exchange that's hopefully not going down as well. HODL that BTC if you're unsure. I agree. I agree. Yeah, this is not the level to sell. This is a level to kind of add. I mean, you guys know what Warren Buffett said. I don't have to repeat it. But yeah, you know, you want to buy low and sell high. Buy when people are panicking and sell when people got that FOMO going. All right, I can't scroll up anymore to try to get to some of the messages. I'm just gonna try to get to some of the current messages. But welcome. I mean, 39 people watching. That is awesome. You know, and if you find this information helpful, please, you know, help us out. Click that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend click on that subscribe button. You know, especially if you keep coming back to these live streams, you know, every time I do them and you're checking out the videos and you haven't subscribed yet, you must enjoy the videos. You must enjoy, you know, some of the comments that I make, some of the little tips and tricks that I recommend. And if you do find them helpful, you know, click on that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Yes, you can pay extra to hide. Well, actually, let's see. You're asking about GDAX. I know Bitfinex, yes. So Bitfinex, you know, you're going to pay the taker fee. The taker fee is 0.3. The maker fee can be 1.1. Let's see if I do an advance order. Yes, because I can do post only or not posted. So yeah, they're going to charge you a little bit. I just don't know how much. That's interesting. Mad Max or Mad Max. You were trying to buy it yesterday, 2,600, but it would not let you. But then it reached 2,700, then it let you. Interesting. Interesting. Stefan, what cryptocurrency are you talking about? Is fast, free, secure, eco-friendly? Yeah, I mean, Max, I mean, honest recommendation, stay away from GDAX. You're going to pay a premium. You really are going to pay a premium to buy it on Coinbase instead of buying it on GDAX. Because in actuality, you're buying those coins from actually Coinbase. You're not buying them from another investor, another trader that's, you know, on the actual exchange platform. Ethereum overvalued? I don't know. It has the ability to get to that 420, 500. End of the year target for me is really it's 1,000. I don't see why it cannot get to 1,000. At 1,000, yeah, I might say, you know what, this is getting overvalued. Do I think BTC is better to invest in or Ether? I mean, it's like comparing apples and oranges. They're both good. It's all about finding an entry, you know, and finding a good entry. But yeah, if you're holding both of them, that's great, man. That is awesome. I would love to hold Bitcoin. I don't have any. But if she gets that $2,000 level, I guarantee I'll be buying some. You think IOTA is going to be epic? I don't know. We'll see. Right now, it's not really proving anything on. The thing is, though, it needs to be on more exchanges. That's the thing. It needs to be on more exchanges. It's only on Bitfinex right now. So as it gets, added onto Bittrex, Poloniex, you want them added onto the major exchanges and not these crappy exchanges. So for them to get added onto Bitfinex first is not bad at all. Instead of being added onto, I don't know, some of the other crappy exchanges that don't really have much volume. Yeah, I would love to see IOTA kind of. I mean, it's not far from its low, really. I mean, its low's, I think, at 40 cents, some accent, or 50 cents after really got pumped up. But I don't know. I would want to see maybe a 50% retracement from here for me to say, all right, you know what, this might be of an interest. Kraken sounds better than Coinbase. I don't really use Kraken, so. But honestly, man, I mean, go to GDAX, GDAX.com. Yeah, I don't know why anybody's using Coinbase to buy anything. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have multiple exchanges. Doesn't matter what you're using. Doesn't hurt at all. $1 million. Jody, welcome, by the way. $1 million BTC on sale. Let me take a look at, I don't know what exchange you're looking at, but because every exchange is going to be a little different. At 128. So that 128 is there. 25.46. You're probably talking about on Bitfinex. Because that buy order or that sell order is probably still there at 2,500. Yep, haven't left yet. And this really, I mean, these two sellers are was really keeping it down. They are holding it down. But yeah, that's about what? A little under 800,000, I would say, at the possible price of 2,500 bucks. Yeah, she's gonna have a hard time reaching that price point unless, like I said, unless that order falls off, or unless there's just buyers there that are going to absorb it because they see the potential of it getting back up to 2,900 bucks. I mean, who knows? Who knows who's sitting on the sideline? Yeah, not a lot of people trust Ripple. I don't trust Ripple either. I mean, I use it as a trading vehicle, and I should have probably sold at 29 cents. Should have. That's always a magic word. Should have sold. All right, I think I got to some of the comments, not all of them, and I do apologize if I didn't get to any comments. If you really had a very important question that you really want me to get to, type it out again, and if I see it, I'll try to get to it. If it's that important and it's urgent that you really want me to get to it, definitely utilize Super Chat. And once you utilize Super Chat, and Super Chat is the one, it's on the bottom left-hand side on this chat. It has a little money symbol. Yeah, the stock exchange is a ripoff. It's a big Ponzi scam. And Miroslav is the one that commented about, I think his buddy was stuck in the market. Probably lost a good amount in the stock exchange. Moving to crypto. Yeah, we all did that. I traded the traditional financial market for years. Made money, lost money. And yeah, it's a big Ponzi scam. So yeah, I think a lot of traders are migrating over to cryptocurrency. All right, let's take a look at Bittrex and see what's going on Bittrex. BAT's not doing too well. Is anybody holding BAT or anybody buy BAT? Yeah, GDAX is not available in Australia. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But I'll take a look at BAT because I know a lot of people bought BAT. I don't know why they would have bought it. You know, wait for it to kind of indicate more of a data for you instead of just buying the hype. That's what a lot of people did. They bought the hype, and hopefully they didn't buy that. 15,000 Satoshis, which was a high, and they're still holding on. So, see, I mean, so this is the rule of thumb. This is kind of the way I look at it. If you have a very sizable position, you're heavily leveraged. And this is only for traders. So, do not take this as a advice for long-term investment. But if you have a very sizable position, your risk is pretty high. So your holding time should be very short. If you have a very small position, your risk is very small. Then you can actually afford to hold that long term. So really, your term of how long you're going to hold it or how long you should hold it should really depend on how much capital you have invested in it. How big is that position? So my biggest holding right now, in the sense of not coins, but in the sense of fiat, is really is Litecoin. 310 at $30.36 that I purchased it. So that's really my biggest holding currently right now. And then second biggest holding would be Ethereum. And then it would be Ethereum Classic. And Ethereum Classic at one point was my biggest holding with over 1,500 coins. Purchased at an average price of like $6.14, I think it was. All right, let's get back to, I'm going to close out Gemini. Let's get back to Bitfinex because I definitely want to, well, you know what? I'm sorry. I did say I would cover BAT, but I definitely want to pay attention to that 2,500 and see exactly how she reacts to it. If it gets absorbed very quickly, then buyers are there. Buyers want to support it. Buyers are willing to pay that high price at 2,500 bucks. I mean, when I say high price, I mean it's not high from its current price now, but they want to pay that 2,500 bucks, and that's just going to cause the price to go up. But if nobody wants to support it, no one wants to buy it at that price, they don't believe in that price, then yes, it's going to sit in that order book unless they take it off. It's going to sit in the order book, or they could lower their sell price. So we got more people that are stacking up at that 2,500. So now we got 8 people that are stacked up. But the people that are stacking up on top of it, they're not adding much to it because really it's only 2 sellers with about 308 Ethereum, BTCs that they're looking to sell. All right, let's go to BAT. BAT. At what price would I be interested in BAT? Definitely not here. Definitely not at this current price point. I mean, it does have a happy medium, I would say, at 6,000 Satoshis, even though it did crack below 6,000 Satoshis, but it cracked below it just momentarily. But there were a couple of points where it actually hit that 6,000 Satoshis and bounced right back up. So if I wanted to be aggressive, 6,000 would be the entry that I would be looking at if I wanted to be aggressive and get a little bit of skin in the game. But if I wanted to be patient for it, I would kind of wait and see if she's going to start cracking the all-time low that she kind of set, which was 5,620. And if she cracks 5,600, there's a possibility she's going to crack below 5,000. Then it would be intriguing for me. It would pique a little bit of interest. I would look at it heavily then and possibly take a very small position because then possibly then it's going to end up settling down and curling to the upside. But we'll see. I mean, this chart's really not giving us much of a data. And if you bought at the high, there's probably no sense of selling here, to be honest with you. But there were people that probably bought at the high and sold at the low. And it's like, well, what's the point? You might as well just hold on for dear life. Mad Max, I agree with that. I agree with that comment. GDAX is for traders, whereas Coinbase is not and has high fees. Yeah, you're buying those coins from Coinbase. You're not buying them from other traders or investors. And GDAX is not. Well, yeah, GDAX is instant buy as long as you have the funds available. Because I mean, you're buying them from another trader. You're exchanging them. He's happy to, or he or she's happy to sell them at a specific price that you're looking to buy it, and those price match up, and the trade will get executed and it'll go through. So GDAX does have fees. Just definitely keep that in mind. There are fees for GDAX, and the fees would be if you're setting a market buy, a market sell, a trailing stop. If you are using those type of order execution, then yes, you are going to pay fees. You're not going to pay fee when you utilize just the limit buy or the limit sell. There's zero fees for that for right now. Later on, that could definitely change. With Coinbase being sued and the IRS going after them and having to spend so much money on legal fees, are they going to start charging? More than likely, they probably will later on down the road. But for right now, the only type of trade execution that they're not going to charge a fee for is for only limit buys and limit sells. The other ones they will charge you fees for. How much would I predict BTC would be by the end of the year? Man. To be modest, 3,500. To be somewhat aggressive, probably 4,000, I would say. But don't take that as a trading advice to get in at this current price. I'm not getting in at this current price. But that's just my speculation. Yeah, Tracy, never buy on impulse. Always have that trade come to you. As long as you seriously sit there and analyze it, and you draw out your support, your resistance, you draw out your trend. You look at the probabilities of it hitting the first area of support, second area of support, third area of support based on the order book and where buyers and sellers are stacked up. It's not an impulse buy. You actually did your research. The probabilities of that trade working out for you are going to be better than impulse buying. So I completely agree. You should never, ever impulse buy. Impulse buyers are the ones that are, feeding into the hype. Something's going up. They want to get in, but they're just getting in at the wrong time. They're getting in when it's peaking. How is GDAX versus Coinbase? It's like comparing apples and oranges, even though it's one company. But GDAX is a platform for you to be able to buy and sell from other traders, investors. Whereas Coinbase, you're buying those coins from Coinbase, so they can mark them up. They can mark up the fees if they wanted to, and I've seen those fees of really Bitcoin was at one point a difference of $50 between GDAX and Gemini. $50 more on Gemini. I'm sorry, $50 more on Coinbase than GDAX, and you're paying commission on top of that. You're paying the premium fee and commission. There's no way to avoid commission on Coinbase. There's no difference in buying Bitcoin in shares. I mean, you can buy a half, you can buy 0.25, you can buy 0.001, you can buy one Satoshi if you wanted to. I didn't buy economy, if you're asking me. And I'm just trying to scroll up to some of the possible messages I might have missed that are good. And if you guys haven't done so, I highly recommend signing up for our mailing list, and you can do that by going to www.cryptotradersroom.com, and there are links at the bottom of this video. And when you sign up for our general chat, for our mailing list, we'll actually give you access to our free general chat room. Now remember, it's just a general chat room for you to be able to have a conversation with like-minded people from all over the world that are into the same thing that you're into, which is cryptocurrency, and that's why we're doing this. So it's a free general chat room. It's not the paid chat room that we have for actual traders, but we will be opening that up later on. But we want to bring the right people into that traders chat room. So you will have access to just a free general chat room that you can actually kind of converse and have a conversation with somebody. And I am taking questions too on our Slack chat room, and there is a type of question and answer channel where you can actually post your questions, and then I'll either answer them through our Slack chat, or if I think it's a very good question, I'll actually address those on the live stream or I'll make a separate video. I'll take maybe the top 5 and make a separate video and upload it. But mainly, if those questions are asked, I'm going to be addressing them on this YouTube live stream. Yeah, I got an ETC at, well, average price of $6.14. So I bought 500 at $4.30, and then I bought 1,071 at $7. So the average kind of works out to about $6.14. Now I sold majority of what I had. I was locking in profits as it was going up, but I still have 150 left. So the average price was $6.14. How about Gemini? I kind of talked about Gemini earlier, so I highly recommend watching this video again. But Gemini is great; it really is. I mean, there's just little cons about it. They don't have a great trading platform, and their fees are high. I want to try to minimize the amount of fees I pay, but they're great. If BTC falls and I don't have any money, I can instantly deposit $500 at 4 p.m., 4:59 p.m., and then deposit another $500 at 5:01 p.m. Eastern time zone, and then I have a total of 1,000 to be able to buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum when I want to at that time. So it's really convenient for that reason. Is there a crash on the way? I mean, it's been proving my theory wrong with this price movement, but I've said it a while ago. I said, this is the start of a bubble. But the price action has definitely contradicted what I've said. But I don't know, maybe it'll come true now, considering we do have this dip happening and we don't really see a major rise. Yes, let me go ahead and, because I have different charting up on a different monitor that's connected to my laptop. So I have BTC, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic chart for Bitfinex. But yeah, I mean, they're down, they're close to their low of the day, and they haven't seemed to be making that upward move. So we'll see. If somebody steps in that's sitting on the sideline and they're looking to unload and they start unloading, yeah, it could cause a bigger dip. What's my thought on Filecoin and Civic? I don't know, man. Tell me, what's your thought on it, Chris? If you're asking about the fundamental side of these coins, I have no clue, brother. No clue at all. If you want me to take a look at the chart, yeah, dude, I can definitely take a look at the technical side of it. But yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think of it. Those are upcoming ICOs. I talked about it in the video on Monday. Be careful ICOs. I mean, look at the chart on every ICO that has basically come out. What has it done? Yeah, so if you're getting at the ICO, you're getting it at a very good price. As soon as it's listed on an exchange, I would be looking to sell. If I was in that ICO, I would be looking to sell. So if you look at every ICO that came out and look at the chart, I mean, look at what it's done. It gets pumped because early investors are looking to get out as FOMO chasers are looking to get in, and they cause that price to just go up and start dipping heavily. And then it flatlines. I mean, look at that. So, unless you got in at an ICO, don't get in when it's listed on an exchange. Because, the people that bought it, before the ICO or, when the ICO was being launched, before it got put on an exchange, they're the ones that are dumping once it gets listed on an exchange. So if you don't already get in at the ICO level, don't buy it when it's listed at an exchange. Wait for it to settle down. Wait for it to tell you more of the story. And that's what these candlesticks do. They tell you the story. They tell you what the coin likes to do. And when it's just listed, you don't have much data. You don't have much data at all. I mean, I've had a couple times where you guys asked me to look at a cryptocurrency, and I'm like, I have a day and a half worth of data. I can't really make an analysis based on this. But I'll watch it and see what it does, later on down the road. What are the requirements to getting into the real trading chat room? David, I don't know if you're already on our general chat room. If you're in our general chat room, definitely start chatting, man. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to start chatting. I want to see what your experience is on either fundamental or technical analysis. So anybody that's in our general chat room, I mean, and remember this too. There's never a right or wrong technical analysis. Okay, so if you think something, you've really done your research and you look at the technical side of it, then yeah, please share that with us. And I'll look at it and be like, yeah, this person's got a good head on his shoulder. You know, he knows what he's talking about. Or, you know, if you don't know anything about the technical side of it, but you know the fundamental side, share that information with us. And I did create another channel or another chat link, and it's called Crypto Analysis. And basically, I think I've listed maybe 15 or 20 coins on there. And basically, you know, there's a thread, and on that thread, if you have any type of technical or fundamental analysis that you want to share, share it under that specific coin, so that, you know, if somebody wants to read something about Bitcoin, you know, every thread, you know, everything that's been said about Bitcoin is on there, whether it's the fundamental or technical side. Now, that's all that I want you guys to talk about, is just really the fundamental technical side. You know, the water cooler chat can go to the water cooler chat. Do not just hang out there and start chatting and clogging up that specific channel. You know, I want that channel to be free for only fundamental and technical analysis under their respective coin name. So if you have anything about, let's just say, I don't think I put that on there, but you know, if you have anything about, you know, Stellar, I do have Stellar on there, and you have some good fundamental or technical analysis that you want to share with us, put it right under that thread. And that's really what I'm looking for right now, to see, you know, who has the knowledge, you know, to be able to take this a little step further. So David, if you're on our Slack chat, I highly recommend, you know, start chatting away. And I mean, there's a good amount of people. I think there's over 80 people, and correct me if I'm wrong, ECS, there's over 80 people on that general chat room. And that's pretty impressive. But a lot of people are not really chatting. You know, they're just kind of reading the chat and probably taking advice, or, you know, hopefully not placing trades based on what's being said on that general chat room. I would never recommend that at all. Let's see, Stefan, IOTA is newly trading today. No, I actually started trading yesterday, buddy. Yeah, yesterday was when they listed it on Bitfinex. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, it has that ability. It does have a lot of coins, though. I think from what I saw, it was like 23, 28 billion coins circulating. So really, you know, they were all pre-mined because total supply was about 23 billion, and available supply is 23 billion. So it was all pre-mined. Daniel, you just got home from work. Well, welcome, man. Thank you for joining. I appreciate this. I appreciate you guys that are joining, that are hitting this like button, because you do find this information helpful. I think 45, that's close to the record of how many people are watching. ECS, thank you for clarifying that, man. I appreciate it. Stefan, not a problem, man. You know, that's what I'm here for. I mean, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy looking at charts, to be honest with you guys. I can sit here and just really stare at one chart and just really start changing the time frame. You know, I'll look at 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, I'll start looking all the way to like 3 weeks, and I'll just sit there and stare at it. And it's speaking to me, basically. It's what it's doing. You know, when I don't have any distractions, and, you know, the house is nice and quiet, and I'm just focused in on that chart, and my eyeballs are focused in. I mean, it's speaking to me. It's telling me a story. And if you can get to that level where it's basically talking to you, I mean, you're getting the hang of it. You're getting the idea of how to read a chart. Litecoin hype. I don't know if it's been hyped yet, man. I'm waiting for that hype. It hasn't been hyped yet. Once it crosses 40, then I'll say yes, it's being hyped. And if it crosses 40 with a vengeance, then, you know, 50 is in sight. 45, 50 is in sight. And I think I would be selling. I would be locking in the profits. And I think, you know, my end of year prediction for that is 100. It's 100. So, you know, 1,000 for Ethereum Classic. Don't place your trades based on what I'm saying here. Remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. These are only to be used for educational purposes and only educational purposes. But, you know, Ethereum end of year target 1,000. Excuse me. Ethereum Classic, I would say 50, and Litecoin 100. I don't know what exchange you're using, Daniel, for Ethereum. But, you know, I think it presented a great buying opportunity when it fell to 306 a couple days ago. I mean, or if you're able to catch that bottom today at like 341, that's not bad. You would have been up 30 something bucks, $33 you would have been up. That's where my charting just all went blank. So we'll see if this live stream continues. And I think we're back on, but I don't have anything on my charting system. And you guys are probably having spinning wheel spinning on a white screen. Yeah, the best advice I would have is, I mean, of course, right now they are making it back up, is to really pay attention to what Bitcoin does. Especially if you're interested in Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, really pay attention to Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin kind of dictates what these other cryptocurrencies are going to do. And when Bitcoin starts dipping, all those three are going to start dipping. Bitcoin starts rising, all those three are going to start rising. So with let me take a look, because I gotta use a different monitor, unfortunately, that's connected to that I can't share with you guys, considering for some apparent reason I am not able to share what I'm looking at with you guys. Okay, I think it's starting to make a comeback. But it looks like on Bitfinex, Bitcoin touched 2440 twice. 2440 is pretty good. It's holding that level very well on Bitfinex. So actually, I might have missed our big buyer or our big seller, because our big seller was stacked up at 2,500, and it's 2512 now. So it either fell off or it just got absorbed. Let me look at the full order history, or actually the trades that were executed. And this is the nice thing about Bitfinex, man. I mean, it'll just show me everything as long as it pulls it up. I think there's issues going on today with some of these exchanges, maybe denial of service attack. Yeah, now I got all I mean, I don't even know if you guys can hear me, if this live stream is still going. But yeah, both of my monitors that are connected to my CPU are just blank. My monitor connected to my laptop is pretty good. So at least I'm able to look at charts there. But I have no clue. ECS, if you can hear me, shoot me a text message. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, considering everything's blank. Even the Google Hangout, YouTube, I got a blank screen. But if I don't get a message from you, ECS, I'm going to assume you guys can't hear me. All right, I don't think we're back on air, so I might have to actually end this live stream. If you guys can hear me, I'm going to give it a couple minutes to kind of settle down maybe and see if everything will come back up. But I have nothing but black screen on all of my charts that's connected to the computer that I'm sharing with you guys. Dylan, thank you so much for that message. So that you guys can hear me, you just can't see my screen. I have a completely black screen on 2 of my monitors, but we'll look at my other monitor, and I can't share the other monitor with you guys because it's not connected to the other computer. But I would have loved to see what that 2,500 did at that exact price point to see if it fell off or not. And that's what I was ready to look at. I was ready to look at the trades that were executed, the full trades that were executed, to see what happened at that $2,500 level, considering I wasn't keeping an eye on it. But yeah, more likely this is like a podcast. I mean, I can't see any of your comments. All I could do is kind of start talking. So on Bitfinex, 24.90 for Bitcoin. So I started that up move to 25. So I'm assuming when, either that person took the order off or somebody came in from the sideline and said, you know what, I'm just going to buy up everything. There's 300 available. I'm looking to purchase 200 or 250, whatever it might be. And that caused the price to go up. But, right now it's just hovering right at that 2,500. 24.90 is basically where it's hovering.